Okay, so looking at this thing, it's pretty tiny. They have these two 1x1 pieces stacked together to represent the exhausts. Hey everybody, Kaiden here, and today I have the Nanoblock military series. So in this kit, you have 3 different variants of fighter planes and a Tiger tank. And I decided to pick up this kit because I'm a big Av geek and a World War II history buff. So I thought this was really cool, and it's also like a surprise kit, so you do not know what you're gonna get. So let's open it up and see which vehicle we got. Okay, so here we have some gum, which I'll review at the end. You can chew on this while you're working. And, uh-oh. Okay, so, it looks like we have the Africa Corps Tiger tank. Now, the Tiger tank is actually the last one that I did not want to get, but at least we have something, and we'll build it. But this was the one that I wasn't anticipating for. I was hoping for a plane, but well, this is what we got, and I guess that's what we have, and so we won't throw a fit, and we'll go ahead and build this thing. I was really hoping we were to get a plane because these are really cool. They use some really nice building techniques here, and it's unfortunate that we didn't get a plane, but oh well. Okay, and that's it. That's all that's in the box. And so here we have our piece of gum, our pieces, and our instructions. Okay, let's start the build. Alright guys, so I have finished my Tiger tank, and it is pretty tiny. I'll show you guys some of the details on here, but it was pretty fun. Before I show you that, it was pretty fun to build for what it is. It took very little time and very little effort to make this, so it's easy for beginners, and even for somebody like me who's been creating different brick creations for years now, this was still a blast to build. Okay, so looking at this thing, it's pretty tiny, really baby. So as you can see here, they added in these little 1x1 routed studs for the wheels on the tracks, or in the tracks. And in the back here, we have these little exhaust pipes that they've tried to model. And then if I take the turret off for a better view, here we have on front of the Tiger 1 series tanks, here's where they put their MGs. And then on the back here, on the turret and at, near the back of the tank, we have the German cross symbol and the code 131, which is a very famous Tiger tank, and I'll explain more of that later. And one thing that I found out is that if you look at the turret here, if you take it off, it's not as square more squared looking as it's supposed to look on the Tiger 1. It looks more of like a Porsche turret, which was on the early production King Tigers. So this one, it doesn't look too much like a Tiger 1 turret, and there's usually at the back here a little cargo compartment where they put their ammunition or stuff like food or whatever. But they didn't really put that much detail in the turret. They definitely could have included that little storage box if they just had a 1x2 and have it stick out the back. It would look a little bit more like a Tiger 1 variant, but so far it looks like the Porsche turret. And here we have no cannon breech at the end. It almost looks like a early production Panzer barrel where it doesn't have any breech. But so far, this is a pretty fun kit. It's very baby, and the only things I would kind of recognize that it was a Tiger is if you had the German cross symbol and then the 1v1 code. That's the only thing how I could identify this as a Tiger tank. But other than that, there's also this hollow opening here, and I bet this front part would have looked a lot better and a little bit less blockier if they moved this 2x4 right here to the back a little bit, so it kind of has a slope and it just isn't just super flat at the front. But I've done tons of other Miniso products where they have, it's basically a clone or Miniso's own version of Nanoblocks, and this is the official Nanoblock, and they addressed that issue in Nanoblock where they have this divider so the pieces can't really slide around unlike Lego. Though the Lego ones will stay in place, but they've kind of fixed that by putting a barrier between their bricks so they do not slide around. Okay, so if you noticed at the end of my build, I had tons of, and I mean tons of spare pieces, and I was really amazed with them. So I made a tiny little, a little micro tank, and I usually do this tradition with all of my other little Miniso builds. So, oops, and it's very fragile, by the way. So here's my little micro tank. It also has traversing turrets, so you can spin the turret also. This is kind of like a pixel art tank. It's like a little cardboard pop-up. It was really hard to make this because even though they gave me tons of spare pieces, and companies, the reason why they throw in spare pieces like these are to make sure that you have enough pieces in the bag so one doesn't go missing. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's compare this thing, this little tiny one, to an actual detailed model. Now this model, it's not like a Tamiya or a Vel, it's not a plastic kit, it's also a building block kit. I have the Kobe Tiger 131, and here it is. So the 1v1, as I was going to explain it, the 1v1 is a very famous Tiger tank. So basically, the 1v1 tank, this was a Tiger tank deployed in the Afrika Korps of the Second World War II. And in the desert, when they were firing upon British forces, a British tank managed to fire a round right in the turret ring, right here. And as they have a little decal on here, and basically the turret ring wouldn't move, and so the German crew surrendered and the British took it back to Britain, and it's the only working Tiger tank today. And so as you can see here, the serial number on this tank is also 1v1, which is really cool. And now going into the detail of this, so on this Tiger tank, I know some improvements that they could have put on this baby little one. So on this Tiger tank, as you can see here, the barrel proportions are pretty good. It still sticks off to the side, sticks beyond the chassis, and the only thing that I was talking about was the breech right here. They could have added this thing to compensate for the flash of the barrel when they fired the cannon. That was one detail that they could have put on here, but they decided not to. And then also another detail that they got right was on the back of here, they have the exhaust pipes, which they also nailed. They have these two 1x1 pieces stacked together to represent the exhausts. And one thing that they could have done was try to overlap the wheels. Oops! Very clumsy. As you can see here on the model, it goes in, then out, then in, then out, then in, then out. So the maintenance on this tank in real life, tons of mud would get stuck up in here, and so it was known for having this ingenious wheel system where they overlapped each other. That would have been cool if they tried to do it with this tank, which I knew they could have done because all they would have to do is just scoot the wheels back and forward. And then as you see on the turret, as I was talking about, it's a little bit more blocky, and the storage compartment in the back, they do not have this with the little baby one right here. So here's a little comparison of the two. But yeah, they did not include the storage compartment. But other than that, I know they tried their best. Even for me trying to design this would be pretty hard to try to make it accurate to the actual Tiger tank. But for the most part, they did their best that they could. And even though I didn't get the one that I wanted, I still appreciate that I have a little miniature model of the same variant and the same serial number. The big mama Tiger 131 and the little baby Tiger 131. So I thought that was great. So that was my review of the miniature Tiger tank in the Nanoblock series, in the Nanoblock military series. I thought this was really cool. Here we have our gum. So this is a pink gum, and I'm wondering if it's gonna be like a mint or a Mooney flavor or some sort of strawberry flavor, but let's just find out. So we have our gum, and I didn't want to chew on this while I was working, so I could have you also experience this with me. So let's take a bite. It's a nice strawberry flavor. So it was just like the color of the gum. It was a nice strawberry flavor. Tastes almost like a haichu, which is really cool. And it's a nice soft gum, and you can definitely enjoy this gum while you're working on your little miniature model. So this is going to have to end my video, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. I definitely had tons of fun making this tiny little baby tank. Even though this wasn't the one that I wanted, I still think it's really cool. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys like and subscribe, and thanks for watching, guys. Bye!